Monica Garcia-Medina with our beautiful piano music, and we have some surprises today with some unique new stuff and all that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for those of you that are looking at the rebroadcast or somewhere else in the world. We are really grateful to be together today in celebration of truth. So my name is Frankie and I'm the spiritual director here at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. And today we have a special guest, a licensed practitioner from Princeton, New Jersey, John Heron, who is serving as our assisting practitioner in the music with Monica. And today we're moving into a new theme for May, which is Holy, Holy Uprising. And the topic today is your holy risk. And I want to go a little bit deeper into this idea of what we see on the surface is not all there is, that there's always something deeper and greater happening for us to reveal. And then we're going to look at what wants to be healed inside of us as we become a participant in this, on this world scene in service to the greater good. And here's my microphone, yes. And then it's about serving humanity. How then do we serve? So, if you are on Facebook, on YouTube you can make comments and do a thumb up or a thumb down, but if you're on Facebook, be sure to use the bubbles, say hello to one another, ask questions, make comments, share what we have, what we're offering at the center, because right now, we have so much in the works. As a spiritual community, we're still, even though we're meeting in person, we are still doing a lot of Zoom meetings. Right now, we have the Reading Circle, which is every Tuesday with Deepak Chopra's book, The Book of Secrets. We have a blood drive happening right in here on Wednesday that you can sign up for with Red Cross. We have Kat Roman doing a mandala workshop that I've done before that's really fun this Friday. And then we have Michael doing another workshop on the chakras on May 24th. And I am starting the flourishing class again, which I developed last year. It's an alternative to prosperity classes. It's called Flourishing. It's 5 weeks and it's so much fun. And we also use the book by Deepak Chopra, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. So either go on our website, sign up for our newsletter because it goes out every week. It has everything in it that you could possibly need. And if it's not there, you can just find a way to ask. And then we have Alan Vukas, who's a minister in Rhode Island, teaching a Zentangle workshop. If you don't know what it is, look it up online, Zentangle. And you know what we have, for those of you that are here, all flyers on the back table for all those events, so take a look at that. So, as always, what we do here, more than anything, is spiritual mind treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. So let's set the tone together. In the right here, in the right now, there's only absolute wholeness and divine perfection, because that's how the universal intelligence created it. We can see this in nature. We can know this in our body, even if it isn't working absolutely perfectly. We can know this when we look back at history. And we see that there's always this evolution taking place. And when we are tuned in to the divine intelligence within that evolution and we make choices that serve the highest and best, we can only flourish. So today we explore this idea that we live at a time in history where the reason each of us are living it and are born in this era is because we have a special gift to contribute to the healing that wants to take on the place on the planet. So we stay connected and we listen to that voice of truth and we allow it to guide us and provide for us so that we can stand in full integrity, in full wholeness, in our essential nature. And so for that and so much more, we are deeply grateful, and so it is. so, I am sure when I tell you this image, and some of you have seen it on our promotional stuff for the talk today, is that most of you are familiar with the three monkeys, right? See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Well, when I was exposed to that as a teenager, I was really moved by that. And I must have been 15, 16, 17, and I already was on a spiritual path, even though I didn't call it that. And I was so moved by that. It was like, I thought it was such a creative idea, such a creative image for us to hold. And then I realized as I grew and matured that it has many layers of meaning, kind of like a croissant. It isn't clean and pure and beautiful and perfect, right? It has many layers, and because we are in a metaphysical teaching, we look at the metaphysical meaning of everything. Meta meaning beyond physical, beyond the physical. So I began to think about that, and I realized that when I came into this teaching, that we don't believe in evil. We just see it as the absence of good, or the absence of the apparent absence of the divine. And yet, when we witness it, it seems very real, doesn't it? And so we expand this idea as we explore it and reflect on it and do our own personal healing. And then we realize that there are stages of awareness. I am sure that if you read the textbook today, that it's going to have some different messages in it than it did last year. Because you've grown and you've evolved, and so you've move into different stages. It's my meditation teacher who says that every stage is just the beginning. Every stage is just the beginning. There's no moment of realization after which everything is over. Okay, I've arrived, that's it. Or maybe a death. And so it's the more awareness and the layers of awareness that we are playing with and thinking about as we think about this idea of holy, holy uprising. Taking a holy risk to be in uprising. And so the theme for May, in essence, is a theme of justice, which at its root meaning means equity, justness, uprightness. I love what it says in the Science of Mind magazine this month, and because our bookstore is closed, I have a few copies if anybody wants to purchase that. But it has a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King that says, "Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice." Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. Justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. And so I want you to think for a moment what it is that breaks your heart right now when you think about human suffering. Is it racism? Is it sexual discrimination, age discrimination, xenophobia, human trafficking, child sexual abuse, poverty, violence, ecocide, the destruction of the planet, corruption? Think about what is it at this time in your life that breaks your heart, where you see human suffering. The thing is, that requires us to move to the next stage and see something bigger and something deeper going on. And part of that means that we have something to contribute to the healing of that. Because if we don't contribute to the healing of it, then we're part of the problem. If you spot it, you got it. If I spot it, I got it. And so the invitation then is to live with a deeper awareness, to understand that human suffering is not happening in a vacuum and it's not separate from us. That when we witness it, we're asked to contribute to moving from injustice to justice by means of being an instrument of love. Is that risky? Yeah, it's risky, because it requires that we're courageous. It requires that we heal from the inside out. It requires that we speak up, listen up, and hear a different message. And so let's look at this idea of see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. It's not about denial, la 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 la, it's not happening, nothing is happening, everything's fine, everything's perfect, la, 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 la. I can't see it, I can't watch the news, it upsets me too much. It's not that. Because there's a middle ground between denial and full participation. And that's the moving into a new stage and experiencing our own healing, out of which comes the clarity, the defogness of what is ours to be and do. And so we're invited then not so much to see no evil, but to see the truth. What's in the way? If I see human suffering and it breaks my heart, it means my heart is open to say, what must I see so I can be a part of the healing process? So I can see what I need to dissolve that's in the way in my mind. So I get to know what my inner work is. And then hear no evil. It invites us to listen more deeply, to know what it is ours to declare. What am I not really hearing from the true essence in my being, from my own being, from my own spirit? And then take courage until it manifests. There's this wonderful acronym for THINK. If you're on Facebook, you've probably seen it, or Instagram, you've probably seen it. But it's the acronym of THINK is, when you speak, it invites us to speak more consciously. And so the question is, or the invitation is, to think before we speak, to think before we make up our mind on what we see and what we hear, and invite us to look deeper, right? So THINK stands for, when we speak, is it true? When I'm speaking, is it true? And we can take it even deeper. Is it true with a capital T, right? Is it helpful? When I speak, is it helpful? When I speak, is it inspiring? When I speak, is it necessary? And the last one, is it kind? So in speaking, we get to think about that. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? That requires courage too. It's risky to think about that and realize there's certain things that we say that don't need to be said, right? Ernest Holmes said this thing called You said, this is the story of your life. Just keep right on knocking at the doorway of your consciousness until every no becomes a yes. Every negation an affirmation, and every fear a faith. We just keep moving and deepening because there's no place to arrive. So it invites us to be present, to be in the moment, to be open, to be honest, to be gentle, to be compassionate, because it is a lifelong journey. Can it be overwhelming? Yes. I'm here to testify that yes, it can be incredibly overwhelming. But that's when we step back and listen more deeply and hear truth from within and deepen our connection with the One. That's a sweet, rich, peaceful way to live, right? It's really a spiritual practice to live with courage and take on the risks. And so the way we deepen our spiritual practice is we ask the question, how then may I serve? That's what I do every single morning in my spiritual practice. How may I serve? What is mine to do? What is mine to be? And I listen, and I don't get up out of bed until I hear it. Because you and I are here to be an instrument of healing, an instrument for the divine. That's the only reason we're here. We think we're here to heal from a cold or COVID, or to be more abundant, or to find a relationship. All that's great, but we're here for something that is much bigger than that. Is that we are a soul having a human experience so that we may evolve and awaken to the truth already within us. And each of us have a unique way to contribute that. No two are the same. And then we're just one little droplet into the biggest ocean, in the biggest ocean. But that droplet is needed because it's a unique droplet. Rumi said there are 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. There are 1,000 ways to go home again. To go home again and again and again and again to your heart of hearts, to your true nature, to your essence, to the truth itself. Mother Teresa was asked, how do you take care of so many people? And she said, I don't. I only take care of the one. What did she mean? She meant she's only taking care of an expression of God. To her it was Jesus. She's only taking care of the one. And that's ours to arrive at. There's only the one. It's just an exchange. And so we get to ask and say, what is mine to do and be? So I want you to just close your eyes for a moment. Just for a moment, and take a breath. And feel the flexibility of your heart, because you already know that it closes and opens, right? If you see human suffering, maybe it closes. If you're with the person you love the most, maybe it opens. If you look into the eyes of a pet, maybe it opens. So just feel it, feel the movement of it, feel it opening. And then just ask yourself, what is mine to do? Not save the world, not maybe go out and protest and march, because there's many ways to serve. Maybe it's just teeny tiny, where it's to smile at someone, or greet them, or give them a compliment. It could be small things. It's just what is mine to do right now. And if there's nothing, it just means that you want to listen more deeply and longer. And so you can do that in your own practice until it becomes clear. It matters not whether it takes days, months, years. What matters is that we ask the question and we listen. And we trust the guidance. So now we have the blessing of John Heron, who's a licensed practitioner in CSL Princeton, and he's going to share some wisdom, and then he's going to introduce Monica for a beautiful performance piece.
Almost forgot my microphone. Right? We project ourselves out in the world, and we need our microphone. And our microphone is whoever we are, whatever our abilities are, right? You leave the microphone off on the side, nobody hears you, right? So thank you so much, Dr. Frankie, for that wonderful, uplifting message. What is mine to be or do in the world? And so I've been thinking a lot about that, and especially, Sunday morning, we come to the service, or maybe you're online in the virtual world listening to this? What about Monday? What about Wednesday afternoon when you have to sit through that awful meeting with that boss who drones on and on? What about Thursday night when you're cooking dinner and you forgot to stop at the supermarket and you don't know what you're going to make, and the complaints that your kids are going to make, that doesn't taste the way it tasted last week. What about then? If this is true, then it's true now and it's true at every moment in our lives. What is ours to be? Right? This teaching, the science of mind, is not about Sunday mornings. It's not a Sunday morning teaching. It's about our lives, right? It's about learning that at every moment we can make a choice to be present with whatever you want to call it, spirit, divine love, peace, because it's always present. Recently, I read something that really struck me, and it's from the book, The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, what we call the textbook. There is a place in us which lies open to the infinite. But when the Spirit brings its gift by pouring itself through us, it can give us only what we take. Right? The pent-up energy of life and the possibility of further human evolution work through every person's imagination and will. The time is now. The place is wherever you are. And it shall be unto us as we believe. This is the science of mind, right? Wherever we are, whatever we're doing, it is present. And the time is now, and the place is wherever we are, and it shall be unto us as we believe. And so today, we have this absolutely wonderful expression of that, right? We have Monica, who is this embodiment of creativity. And we have this poem that was written by Lori Carlson, who is one of our practitioner students here. And the two got together, and there was this inspiration to do this in movement, to recite this poem, and for Monica to express it through movement. So I suggest to you that as you're watching this, as you're listening to the poem, as you're experiencing it, let your mind go to what's mine to do? What's my expression? Are you a fabulous cook? Are you somebody who really takes care of your kids? Are you somebody who just likes music, likes listening to music? What's your expression of the presence of spirit, of creativity, of peace in your life? And how can you do more of that on Monday, and on Wednesday, and on Thursday? So I'm going to move aside and let Monica move in now. And we're going to have this wonderful poem by Lori Carlson. I allow myself the exquisite gift of yearning for something more. For something greater through this teaching and all I'm learning. I know it's what happens now that determines later. And so I step forth with a consciousness open and free of limiting beliefs and the struggles that keep me stuck in patterns of who I should be. Letting go, I release subconscious thoughts buried so deep and choose possibility. Opening myself to the chance that is inherent in each moment and each new day. That gives us the steps to create a new dance and new ways to express what we need to say. There's a freedom that comes from questioning who we are. And as we push past the struggles and the pain, we come to see the clear vision, sparkling like a star in the night sky, so clear after the cleansing rain. So I vision and pray and spend time sitting still, trusting in the voice that comes through when I do, knowing that it's not my ego, but surely God's will expressing itself in the quiet of my soul. It's true. And so I embrace the vision, the voice, and any struggle, accepting it's only there for me to grow and let go. Allowing the law to create and to juggle circumstances and events to come out just so. If I let go and let it be so. And so I say with deep conviction and belief, and so it is. Knowing it is done, and I can let go with the sweet relief of leaving the how in the hands of the one who creates and expresses as the law of life and gives access to all possibility. The same to each, and even when it feels like struggle and strife, if we let go and just know, then surely we'll reach from the depths of our beliefs to the highest of highs and become the possibility we were meant to be. Releasing all judgment and fear with a sigh. We're catapulted into the field of love, free to just be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Laurie.
So I hope that while that wonderful thing was going on, that you're thinking, you in your way, each one of us in our way, has a way of expressing that brings the presence of divine creativity to our lives. On Monday, on Thursday, on whenever, right? The time is now, the place is wherever you are, and it shall be unto us as we believe. And so with that, I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment. And so this word is for all those who are listening, who are participating, those in the digital world and those who are physically here. Knowing that creativity, this one infinite truth, is always present in all things. It is one, so there is no opposition, there is no doubt, there is no disagreement, there is one. And this one, in the deep compassion for itself, expresses this world, this infinite divine love. And since it is infinite, it is each one of us, each one listening, is that perfect divine love expressed through the individuality of each one. And therefore, I know without any question right here, right now, that each one is finding who they are in the presence of the divine, as the presence of the divine, through the presence of the divine, at every moment. On Monday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, each one is knowing the divine presence. There isn't anything else. What else is there to know? And so each one knows this truth. Each one lives this truth. Each one is this truth. The divine speaks through each voice, and each one's life is expanded. Each one's life is growing at every moment, and each one opens the door, allowing the divine fully to express a glorious life, a life of perfect blessing. This is what each one is knowing. This is what each one is doing. It must be so. It is so. With great gratitude for this truth, I release this to the law. It is done, and so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, John. That was wonderful. Thank you, Monica. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Lori. And of course, thank you to Fernando and Michael for serving today. It's good to be together. We want to remind you that we also have an annual meeting in 2 weeks from today. So those of you who are members, we ask that you come, and those of you who are friends, if you want to be a part of it, you're welcome to come. If you don't know, ask me. So we are a community that relies completely on donations, or mostly on donations. So we invite you to give. There's a document on the back. There's like 6 different ways to give. One way is here today, one way is online. So we invite you to consider that as you're part of a community, that you share your part to the best of your ability. I was listening this morning to NPR, and I send them money every month because I listen and I receive inspiration. So it's a wonderful way to give back. And I'm so grateful for this community and this teaching, and each and every one of you. You're each a blessing and a gift. And also behind the camera, wherever you are. So Monica is going to do the song Surrender, and it invites us to have some movements. So if you want to participate, I invite you to stand.
Yes, you don't have to. You can also do it sitting down. Either way, whatever makes you feel comfortable. But you're watching me move. I thought it'd be only fair for you guys to move too. So the words are, I surrender. Could you repeat after me? I surrender. Good, I'll do one. To the change that I need to help me heal. All right, that's the first half. Let's do it again. I surrender to the change that I need to help me heal, like a body scan. Good, one more time. I surrender to the change that I need to help me heal. Okay, everybody's got it. Second part. I surrender to the flow that my wholeness does reveal. Again, the second part. I surrender to the flow that my wholeness does reveal. All right. So, and of course, feel free to do other moves, whatever, however the music moves you. And Frankie's going to help me out while I play the piano.
Yes. But a cheat sheet, just in case.
All right, here are the notes. Yeah, I got to teach you guys the notes. So. I surrender to the change that I need to help me heal. I surrender to the flow that my wholeness does reveal. Yeah. I surrender to the change that I need to help me heal. I surrender to the flow that my wholeness does reveal. All right, now we're going to take it up another notch. We're going to change it to you. You surrender
We surrender to change that we need to help us heal. We surrender to the flow that our wholeness does reveal.
Hey,
Thank you, everybody.
one more day. We got to pray for those who are not here, that we are not aware of. They.
Oh, they, one more
They.
day, all the days, yes.
Thank you.
Surrender to the change that they need to help them heal. They surrender to the flow that their wholeness does reveal.